Today, Harper and I are going to demonstrate how we get our dogs to be calm, quiet, and relaxed in the crate, which is a really important skill for all dogs to have. Whether you're home or not home, they should just be relaxing and waiting for you. Now, Harper struggled with this in the past, so that's what makes her a great candidate, because now she's over that hump and she does fantastic here in her kennel. And we're gonna go through the steps to show you how we let our dogs know that we want them in there, relaxed and waiting, being patient. Not whining, barking, scratching, trying to get out. None of that, just relaxing. So without further ado, I'm gonna show you with Harper the routine of getting her in and out and how to use the e-collar to hold her accountable for going in and also to hold her accountable for being in a good state of mind while she's in there. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna cover is how to get our dogs out of the kennel without going crazy. Remember, we're trying to promote calmness instead of craziness, which means we're never gonna reward anxiety or any type of barking, scratching, or whining. Any of that stuff is not gonna be rewarded by letting the dog out. Letting the dog out is very rewarding. First thing you need to know is if I open this door, we can't have our dogs rushing out. So the best way to approach the kennel is calm. As opposed to coming up to the kennel very excited like a lot of people like to do because they're happy to see the dog in the morning or when they get home from work. That just encourages the craziness. Hi! Oh my gosh! Are you ready to go outside? Are you ready to go outside? So as you can see, she's been trained to know if she starts to feel excited to self-regulate. So she started and then she self-regulated. So every step of the way, we're looking to keep our dog calm. First step, opening the door. Most dogs are gonna be riled up at this stage because they haven't seen you for however long you've been gone. So what we're gonna do, the e-collar's usually not on at this time, so we're not gonna use that. If it is on, you can absolutely use that by saying no and correcting, and then asking for it down. But what we use is the door as a way of correcting. So if I open this door and the dog starts to nuzzle its way out, I can just shut the door. You'll see the dog, especially if the dog's face is a little bit out, it might hit them in the nose, and that's okay. It teaches them to be calm and not to bolt out the door. So you're creating a rule and a boundary, and the consequence is the door shuts. So if you do this a couple times, the dog tries to get out, shut. Do that a couple times, you'll see you open the door and your dog will look at you. That's what we're looking for, that permission, that calmness. Once the dog's calm, then you can go in and put on your tools, which is the remote collar for us. And after that, then we can invite our dog out calmly, like so. We use the word break. Break. Good girl. Good girl. So, that's the easy part. What if your dog doesn't want to go into the kennel? That's a little bit more challenging for folks. Luckily, Harper, who definitely had a little bit of that in her, she's been trained on the e-collar with the kennel being a command. So if I get close to the kennel and I say the word kennel and she doesn't get in, I can then turn on e-collar pressure and she'll go right on in nice and smooth, okay? So let me give you a demonstration of that. Okay. So we can use the word come to get our dog following us. Come. This gets us to the kennel. Then when I get close, I'll say kennel. Kennel. Good girl. If she did not get in, I would tap on the e-collar and repeat the command. If she said, I really don't want to, and you don't have a leash on, and she went away from you, don't chase her, recall, come, she comes close, try it again, kennel. A dog who's fully trained up on the e-collar, they know that their options are really limited once you give a command, because they know that you can hold them accountable from up to a half a mile away. So what you see is usually a dog who's going to give you that fuss will do it about once, and then they realize, okay, I see how this goes. And then you get a smooth sailing from there on out. Like Harper, she understands the e-collar, and she knows that if she were to go in the other room, I could just recall her. I don't have to go chase her. It doesn't have to be a game. okay? So as you can see, there's a boundary here. She knows she can't just come out the door. Good girl. Another thing we promote is down stays, believe it or not, in the kennel. So once the dog knows down on the e-collar, we actually insist that they have a down stay. So if we catch a dog standing up, as long as they're, if they're stretching, of course they can stretch or get a drink. But if a dog's standing up and peering out, they're gonna start whining and they're looking for a way out. So we correct that and tell our dogs to go back into a down. We correct on the e-collar and we hold them accountable with the e-collar. So if I am to shed this, of course I would take the leash off, right? In fact, my girl doesn't need a leash, so I'll take this straight off. If your dog's in here for overnight, you would take all your tools off. Unless, of course, they're barking and whining in the middle of the night. And if I'm to leave here and she starts to whine or dig or bark, it's a correction on the e-collar. We disagree with that, and what we get over time, a couple days, maybe a week, your dog learns to just relax. But you have to disagree with it, and there's no easier way than the e-collar. So I'm gonna go outside. Let's see what she does. You should be able to have life going on around your dog while they're in the kennel and have them realize that they still need to relax. So I had Riggins get off the place bed and move around. I'm gonna give him some loving. Now if your dog's whining in the kennel, they're just disagreeing with being in there. So that's why we correct it, because it's a bit of a protest. Good girl, she's doing fantastic. Nice and relaxed. So something to make note of is it's great to let your dog know that what you desire is calmness most of the time. Like 98% of her day, I want her calm, and she knows that. So once you see something that she starts to get excited about, she's self-regulated. She's self-regulated, like a good girl, right? I did not click on the e-collar, I did not correct her, but I could have. If she started to get whiny and wanted to get out because I was sitting here petting Riggins, I could say no, click, down, and she would relax. Okay? Okay. Thank you, Richard.